when you think about Jalen Hurts, when you think about the MVP award, why in the world is that man Jalen Hurts currently your MVP favorite?
A lot of different reasons why. First of all, they're 11-1, best record in the NFL.
Yep.
For one. For two is he does it all. He runs the ball. He throws the ball. He wins games. Whatever you need from Jalen Hurts, he gives you that. And when I look at all the other players, I can only think of one guy, and that's Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is probably, I would give it to Hurts. He's number one, and I think Pat's right behind him. But it's going to flip-flop. Like, Pat has a good game, and Jalen doesn't. Oh, Pat's, he's leading the way for the MVP. Then it flip-flops. Jalen Hurts does it again. So I'll just say right now, my boy is number one, and he's putting his thing down every Sunday.
I co-sign that. And you know what? I don't think it'll flip-flop anymore, Shady. I think Jalen Hurts had been trailing Patrick Mahomes the duration of the season. Now I think he's in front. I think he's running away with it. I don't think he'll lose it. Here's why. Patrick Mahomes catching Jalen Hurts is really dependent on one thing: Jalen Hurts playing bad. But here's what's crazy. Jalen Hurts doesn't play bad. He hasn't all season. Now, we could argue about how great is Jalen Hurts' greatness, right? Maybe he's never had a 400-yard passing season, 400-yard passing game this season, but he don't play bad. Last week, 380 yards. The week before, 150-plus rushing yards. I said this before, I will say it again. There is one bad throw that has cost Jalen Hurts this season. It was against the Jags behind Zach Pascal. That's it. Outside of that, Hurts does not play bad games. And most importantly, when you think about MVP winners, you got to do something that hasn't been done as of recently, or at least isn't being done compared to your peers. The year that Adrian Peterson won MVP, 2,000 rushing yards. The year that Peyton Manning won MVP in Denver, 55 passing touchdowns. Jalen Hurts, ain't nobody winning like them. Now, the Chiefs were winning like them. 2 losses, 1 loss, marginal. But now, 1 loss, 3 losses, ain't nobody winning like the Eagles. For that reason, I think Jalen Hurts not only is in front, but I also think he runs away with it. Joy, why is Hurts your MVP right now?
Well, I mean, everything that Shady said, they have the best record. They're winning because of him, not in spite of him. He's putting up the numbers. He's winning in different ways. He's clearly the leader and the face of that team. When you think of the Eagles, you don't think of the best running back. You don't think of the best defense. Like, you think of Jalen Hurts and then the rest of the team. And to me, that's the MVP of the team. And if you are the best position, the most important position for the best team, then you should be leading the MVP race. I think the conversation with Patrick Mahomes will come down to numbers. And we know this is a narrative award. So that will be really what I think determines who wins the MVP this year, because it is very close. Outside of the Eagles' record, the rest of the NFL has a lot of parity going on. That's why this race is very close. Normally by this time of the year, we kind of have a really clear consensus, like, this guy is, I mean, this is where we were with Aaron Rodgers last year. Like, this guy's going to win the MVP. Like, it's close with Brady, but, like, we're probably going to give it to Aaron Rodgers. He's going to end up with the record for it to make sense, and so on and so forth. It's a little closer this year, but I think that's because people really don't want to give Jalen Hurts quite the credit for it. Like, we know what Patrick Mahomes is, and he has the resume. So we can point to Patrick Mahomes and say, hey, he lost Tyreek Hill. They don't lose a step.
Yep.
But with Jalen Hurts, he doesn't have that build-up reputation. So for some reason, there's like this hesitation to give Jalen Hurts the credit for the Eagles' success this year.
Dave, I'm going to pivot.
Which is not true.
I'm going to pivot the conversation, and I know you're man enough to handle it. You're intelligent enough to handle it. Pivoting the conversation in its entirety.
I got you.
Joy brought up a good point. Why don't we give Jalen Hurts that same credit we give Patrick Mahomes? I would say because we don't necessarily see wow. When you see Patrick Mahomes, you see wow. But Jalen Hurts' statistics are wow. But think about the biggest plays from the Eagles last game. It wasn't a wow Jalen Hurts. It was a wow A.J. Brown. It was a A.J. Brown on dude's head. It was a A.J. Brown wide open. Now, Jalen Hurts, his statistics are still wow, but you don't see wow like you see Mahomes unless you really look at Jalen Hurts' body of work. Elaborate on that.
I know the answer to that. It's not hard. The Eagles designed a wonderful team around him. They went and got A.J. Brown. They drafted Devontae Smith. They've got a wonderful defense that gives him some cushion. They've got the best offensive line in the league. And I don't say that to take credit away from Jalen Hurts, and that's why I agree with y'all. He would be the MVP today for me, because it's way harder than people want to make it seem to step into that and not only not screw it up, but be great. Like, go ask the Denver Broncos about this. They should be good by all measure. They got a good roster. They've got a better defense than Philly, arguably. They're terrible because they're not getting any good play out of their quarterback. So not only is Jalen Hurts not mucking it up for the Eagles, he's been phenomenal. The reason people don't want to give him credit is because there's so many pieces around him that make it easier for him. That is not Jalen Hurts' fault. It's just the nature of the business, and people are going to need to see him do it year in and year out before they put him in that category. But if he keeps doing this, I think, and Joy's right, it's a narrative award. I think if he's going to beat out Mahomes, because my thing with Jalen, I will say, the Eagles win different ways, right? I mean, he might have a game where he throws for 180 and they put up 40 points. We know Mahomes is going to flirt with 300-400 every time he goes out there. So I think if Jalen is going to win this, I almost don't think they can afford to lose again.
Agreed.
Because that is his biggest edge. It's not, and I hope that doesn't sound like criticism of him. I think it's just the nature of it. When you're a player going for the award for the first time, I think the margin for error is a lot slimmer.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.